but
Isn't Neva Key at least alright?
yeah, Neva Key's fine. He
Yeah.
does have a problem of pretty weak boosting.
Yeah. And finally caught up to the delay.
Yep.
I've been wondering, what the hell is that stuff on the top of Fly Guy's screen? What is that?
That is an alternate map outline.
The
So instead of having the proper mini map, you can have that, and it just shows where everybody is around the entire track.
So he is running a second character to blow up rocks.
Yep. That is a pretty standard move here. It also,
Yeah.
at least what it feels like to me, is it puts you in a better position to do the initial boost. Just because you can get a tighter line along the first bend.
Yeah.
As well as making the last boost of the track easier to hold, because you don't have to avoid the rock with dumb hitbox.
Yeah, Dog Guy's coming out for a pretty good lead here.
Yes, that's what Ben does on this track.
Yeah.
There's a very good reason he's the fastest by far. Dwy Guy's on 139 pace, it looks like.
Yeah.
Which is pretty solid. Sire's looking like he's going to pull a 146, 147, assuming nothing changes.
It also just looks like Dwy knows exactly when he wants to turn for every turn, and Sire's kind of making it up a little bit.
Yes, this is a track that a lot of people choose to grind, and you can tell Dwy Guy's ground this course because he held that boost. It is one of the hardest ones to hold in the amateur circuit. Low 138. That's actually not a half bad time. It's about a 2/3 of a second behind my PB. It's a very good.
All right.
That
So
is 1 point
vengeance
to
ban.
Dwy. Just immediate vengeance ban. All right. Bumpies is off the table. What's coming up next?
Grab line. Yep. He knows.
Yeah, he's and
And
Sunken City. That's interesting. A Bullseye main player banning 2 tracks that are pretty strong for Bullseye.
Yeah.
Sunken's not phenomenal for him, but he's pretty solid on bumpies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what comes up next, though. Sire's banning a pod. He's going to ban Ben, as he does.
Yep.
This is why everyone's got to practice at least 2 pods.
Yeah. And temp ban on Abyss.
All right.
I don't know if I would have banned that thinking ahead. Probably it's a kind of reflexive thing, but I don't think Sire plays that.
No.
Mongaza.
Mongaza Speedway with no bend. I'm expecting a Sire with a bullseye, Dwy Guy with a bowls.
Yeah. Something like that. Well, really, I don't know why it would do that.
Mahonic's a little easier.
I mean, yeah, but if you play
Yeah, if you play bowls, you pick bowls here as the backup.
Yeah.
All right, players have been given the countdown, and we're going in. Well,
I got
Gale, now I know to ban that against you.
Yeah, downgrading his traction.
That's necessary on this track. It's also optimal to play on 24 FPS. Bullseye mirror.
Huh, yeah.
You don't need to downgrade your traction for bullseye. You need to for bowls or Ben.
I refuse to speak English. Terrible language.
I mean, we have a couple people in the community who could do the commentary in German or Spanish. I'm not going to bother syncing it up with how short this course is.
Yeah.
And
Once you miss it.
Both players clean to the first one. Sire slightly tighter through that main bend. Sire clipping the wall a little bit, does not hold that boost. Dwy Guy opting not to hold that boost, and there's a quarter-second lead for Dwy Guy coming out of lap 1. Yeah, this feels like I'm casting a horse race.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Sire going for the short boost. Y guy, is he going to opt to hold the long boost? He does not. He just opts to take that shorter. And another tenth of a second up for Y guy. So it looks like it's going to be...
Sire takes the death.
Oh, and that's going to do it. Y guy's going to take this track, and it is over just like that.
Yeah.
44 on Bullseye to what looks like it's going to be a 50. Yep.
Pretty close up to that point.
Whew. That was... that's a fun one to commentate. Got to go to freaking auctioneering school.
Yeah. Yep, Scrapper that. Sire just wants to get out of this fast. He wants to only pick short tracks. He wants to go to bed.
Yeah. That's a pretty good tip, Gale.
Next good tip is boosting is good. Do it when you can.
Yeah.
When you can't, see step 1.
Yeah, if we were getting longer tracks, I'd be able to take a little more time to explain stuff. The short version of this is, it's a relatively standard racing game, just very fast.
Yeah, and then pod selection, basically. So the pod they've both been playing is very agile, but extremely flimsy, and can't hold boosts as long as some others, like Bulls we were talking about.
Yes. This tournament's done primarily on max upgrades. Sometimes players do opt to downgrade either their brakes or their traction, depending on the course. Downgrading your traction, paradoxically, actually makes you handle better in certain scenarios. It's weird, it just makes your drifting better. And there are moments where you want to use your brakes to end a boost, because tapping the brakes ends it, but you don't want to bleed out speed, so you downgrade your brakes. However, there are also tracks where you need to slow down, so you upgrade your brakes there. Alright, both players hopping into it pretty quick. This track is pretty fun. It starts off with a relatively tricky boost. I'm a little behind. And then goes into what Ace calls the Speedy Tube.
Oh god. Ooh, and Sire clips a wall with like just barely.
Yeah. The PC version has a finite amount of money as well. But if you choose the winner-take-all option on the prize money for each race, you can get to all of the upgrades. You actually don't need to do it. I think you can just do it with the skills split. Alright, a 41.95 out of Y Guy for lap 1. That's pretty solid. It's going to be a 47 for Sire. Whew.
Yeah, that death cost him hard.
Yeah, it was a low heat death.
Looks
Dying
like
on
Y's also taking the turn slightly closer than Sire is.
Yeah. Ooh, Sire survived touching the death wall with Bullseye
Yeah.
on 60 FPS.
He put his lucky charm on today.
Yeah. Alright, let's see what Y Guy opts for in the jump. Does he go to try to land quickly? And he does. He'll start boosting in about 2.5 seconds. Or go make me eat my words. He should have waited a little bit, then he could have held that into the tube slightly. 41.21 out of Sire, that's a solid lap 2. Coming out of the Speedy Tube, does Y Guy clip the wall? Doesn't look like it. No.
Nah. I think has he even taken damage? I don't think so.
He's scraped a little bit, and Sire clips the very end of the death wall. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So that wall actually does more damage to you than almost any other wall in the game.
It also goes a bit longer than you expect, or at least the danger zone goes slightly past the yellow. That killed me when I raced on this one.
And a very high 201. Yep, 201.929 for the Y Guy. That's a very solid time.
Did Dwight die on the last track?
No, he did not die on that track at all.
Yeah, no, he's looking pretty good. He's concentrated.
Yeah.
Yep, Ben ban again. For Laser still in the chat, Ben is the best racer on almost every track.
Yes,
He
all
can
but
hold the boost the longest.
yes, all but 2 of the tracks. It's not just that he actually can't hold his boost the longest time-wise.
Or yeah, but
He
fast.
he has the fastest boost in the game and thus covers as much distance as the longest holding boost. Do you know who's the longest holding boost?
Said
Oh,
Mars Squirrel, right?
yeah. Fire Mountain Rally is the pick.
Ooh.
Never mind. Inferno's the pick, apparently.
Did we not ban that one?
No,
No, I don't think
Inferno
we
was
did.
not banned. Vengeance, Bumpy's, Grabvine, Sunken. We're going to Inferno.
Alrighty.
This is a pretty cool track. Sire immediately loaded Grabvine. Or not Grabvine, Fire Mountain Rally.
Yeah.
And honestly, these two tracks, you could argue for switching their names.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that confused me for a bit.
both names are a better fit for Inferno. But Fire Mountain Rally does fit the track as well.
Yeah, it's fast. I played a different game a couple days ago, and it's like a racing game, and I felt like I was doing something horribly wrong because I was moving at about half the speed of this game, but I was moving max speed.
I mean, to be fair, you were playing Fast RMX on the slowest setting.
Yeah, I mean we moved it up, and it still felt kind of the same.
That was the medium setting.
Yeah, I mean we couldn't do the higher settings than that.
Yeah.
They also had way more attempted to actively kill you way more. This game passively kills you.
Yeah.
It kills you and then apologizes.
Yeah, basically. Okay, going into this one, Bullseye is actually one of the best picks on this track. Just because he can hold a lot of boosts here that nobody else can. In a standard IL grinding setting, however, Mars Guo is the best option because he can do the current variation of the Inferno skip. However, skips are
individual level, right?
Yes. Let's see, Sire taking the outside line, so it's Y guy. Individual level. Individual lap runs we call flaps, or fast lap.
I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable.
Alright, Sire opting to take the shorter route in such a way that winds up going slower.
Ooh.
Oh, that's an interesting death. A little behind. There we go. 54.50 first lap out of Y. Looking like it's going to be a 103 out of Sire. Alright, so where Y guy is right now is where a lot of those faster boosting pods with worse handling make up the gap that Bullseye creates. That line is why Ben is still the fastest and no skip pod on this track, I believe. But through segments like this that Y guy's in, Bullseye makes up a ton of time over most of the field.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, this race would be pretty close. It's just Y guy having slightly less wall time is basically the bit. Ooh. And his first death, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of caster curse in there.
Yeah.
This game is very prone to that, and I'm not totally sure why. That was still a 56-8. That's pretty solid with death. 58-4. That is, yeah, even with a death, Y guy came out of that faster than Sire. Alright, well, this is looking pretty good for Y guy, barring like a catastrophic pair of deaths coming through this Tiger Lava section.
Yeah.
but he's got it. Oh, and
Ooh.
Sire clips the wall there on getting into that line. That's actually a very tricky one to hold properly, especially with how fragile Bullseye is. And Sire going hard at this last bit.
Yeah.
2-4-4.
Yeah, I gotta say,
The
I like
Dwy
his
guy, not
attitude.
Sire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dwy guy's just... He goes in.
Yeah. I'm liking this a lot.
Yeah, we have a couple people who just drive like absolute maniacs. Dwy guy's one of them. Lightning Pirate and Nectarn both do.
I didn't see Nectar in second. Nacho kind of does, as far as I can tell, but I might be mesmerized just because he dies randomly.
Yeah.
It is a
we
best
do it.
of 9.
Yes. So this is match points that we're going into. Abyss has been banned once again. I'm assuming Ben will be banned once again. But I don't know where we'll go. Are we going to just break the trend and go to a really long track?
Dry is 4-0.
Yes.
Yeah, I was noticing the font thing too. I'm not really sure though. I don't know versions very well.
The font difference is it's a mod that we specifically approved. All it does is change the fonts for legibility. It just sharpens them.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty nice.
Yeah. I like the sharper text. I don't like the font itself.
Mm-hmm. Kind of reminds me of the Korean text in League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
The Korean font they use.
It's almost too clean.
Yeah.
Oh god, we're going to
Malastare
Malastare 100.
Ooh, baby.
This track has one of the hardest single turns in the game. Oh, and Sire's leaving Ben on the table. He is waving his pod ban.
Yeah. Now it looks like he's kind of given up. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he'd get at least one in. Because he doesn't look like he's playing badly. He's just slightly sloppy in some parts.
Yeah. It's also Dwy Guy's playing cleaner than I've seen him in any of his previous rounds.
Can't remember if I watched. I think I might have.
If you haven't watched them, go back and watch Dwy Guy vs. Metallica from round 1.
Oh, I did watch that one.
That was one of the best matches so far of the tournament.
Yeah. He won that one, or did Metallica?
I do not remember offhand. I can pull up the bracket.
Hey. Alright, we have heard from yourself why won.
Alright.
That was a good match.
Yeah. I was wondering who the knowledgeable person whose name I didn't recognize in chat was.
Yeah.
Also, that reminds me, I need to try to catch your amateur circuit no upgrades time now. Okay, both players are ready. I just need to give them the countdown. Cool, we're getting right into it. And there is Hugh, the current best active N64 player. Guy is a monster on that platform.
Nintendo. Beep, 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 beep.
Should be getting into it any second.
Thank you. Oh, here we go.
Yep. Something I just noticed is they play on different camera settings.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
In general,
the back camera.
It's situational for me. When I'm playing something like Mars, I really like using the far back camera. But when I'm playing a smaller pod like Bullseye, I really prefer the tight one. That was just a sinking pause.
Yeah. Got worried for a second.
Yep. So a slight lead for Guy. This one's looking much closer.
Ooh, engine fire. Luckily, this is probably the best place to get the engine fire because you want to stop anyway.
Yeah.
And they both make it through.
Yep. You actually don't want to brake here if you're going for an optimal time.
Yeah.
That's what makes this corner so hard in ILs.
Yeah.
Because you keep
this is
holding
IL,
thrust.
so.
But that is what makes that corner so difficult. It's hard even if you brake, but it's even more tricky. It's one of the many things in this game that's more difficult with upgrades than it is without.
Ooh. Guy hits but makes it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sire hits but makes it. Loses a little less speed, so that's a bit of time made up. Still losing a little time on this lap.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he made up 6/100ths of a second. If Guy dies on the hairpin and Sire doesn't, that's the lap. And that's the track.
Yeah.
Yep. With how fragile Bullseye is.
Too. That makes it a bit rougher.
Yeah, one touch.
Oh, clean.
Oh, yep. Oh, Sire with the full stop. That was a solid one from Guy.
Yeah,
Sub 2. That was a very close race, actually, within 3 seconds.
Yeah. And that's the 5-0.
All right, we're going to see about getting both players in here. There is Guy. Congratulations on the win.
Hey, thank you.
Pretty good. Thanks. You only died like 3 times, I think, that entire match? Or something like that.
I think it was less than that.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Yeah, one of the Inferno might got a little too risky on like one of the last boosts and blew off my engine as Bullseye, so it happens.
Yeah.
So pretty honestly, very good Valstar 100 turns on that hairpin too.
Yeah, for both players, that M100 was pretty solid.
Yeah, I think I was air braking probably a little too much. Maybe could have slid along the wall a little more.
You do not want to risk that on Bullseye.
Yeah, with Bullseye, yeah, I didn't want to go for it.
If you were grinding the IL, maybe, but not in a race setting like this.
Yeah, especially because you risk having to repair at some point too.
Right.
And that race was already was about 3.5 seconds apart, so the death would have been enough to swing it.
Yeah, I agree. How did you feel about those races, Sire?
I mean, as good as I could, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, because don't you speedrun the game?
Not exactly. I mean, I've only just started like recently getting into it just for nostalgia's sake and just seeing how my times.
I basically knew from the get-go I didn't stand a chance because of that.
Well, now with that attitude.
Dude, I don't even play the game. So last time I played was my last race.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, if you put a little bit of time in, you could be a very real threat, though, Sire. You're pretty solid at it.
The problem is I only use Bullseye, and he's the only character I enjoy using. Everyone feels like a tank to me, so I can't I can't really compete with just him.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I feel you. I really liked Bullseye, like when I was first starting out, and until I realized, like on some of the tracks where you can boost a ton, like Spice Mine Run, Ben feels really fun.
Yeah, like having a boost that lasts for 2 seconds just doesn't work for Bullseye, and I really hate it. But what can you do?
Hey, as long as you're playing him and not Slide.
Yeah.
But Slide.
Trust me, I love Slide too, but
yeah, I don't think I'd ever seen him before. He looks very fancy.
Yeah, it's like a kangaroo or something with armor.
All right.
Gazelle-like through the forest.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think we should probably call it a night, let everyone get some sleep, and we will be back in about 12 hours with me against Ronnie.
Okay, good luck on your match. And thank you, everyone, for doing this on such short notice.
As long as we got the match in.
Yeah. Good games, man.
Yeah, good GG.
Thank you to both players. Thank you to Speed Gaming. Thank you to Mystery Liquid, and thank you all for chat. It was a very fun race, and we will see you all next time.